Hello everybody. Today I have for you one of those reading wrap-ups. If I seem a little bit tilted, that's because my chair broke. This is the chair that I both use for sitting at my desk and also for propping up stuff to film, so it's just tilty now. I don't know what happened. But like I said, today I have a reading wrap-up. These are going to be books 106 to 110. First up, we've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer Out of the Madhouse by Christopher Golden and Nancy Holder. I was never like super into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think I watched like the first two seasons when they were on Netflix when I was like a freshman in college. It was fun. But I saw this at like a thrift store and I couldn't not take it. This is like, I mean, it's a novel based on the TV show. It's like this stuff starts happening in their town and they have to go and find this creepy house. I do like a creepy house trope, and this one did do that. Pretty fun. But overall it was not memorable at all. I think I gave it like 2 or 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad. It wasn't poorly written, surprisingly gory at times, but you know, it's a novelization. It's a novel based on a TV show, so that's they're very rarely super good. Then I reread my favorite book in the world, so we know it's gonna be good. That is The Long Walk by Stephen King. Oh, I love The Long Walk. If you are unaware, The Long Walk is a Stephen King novel following this like dystopian future where every year there is this competition where 100 boys start walking between the border between Maine and Canada, and they just walk until they all die because you can't stop. You have to go 4 miles an hour. You get shot in the head, stuff like that. This is my favorite book, and it's been my favorite book since like the 8th grade. It is just, I don't know, there's something about the characters and the writing that just makes me really love it. I'm still mad that Stephen King wrote this when he was like 19 years old, because it's like, I'm 23 and I haven't written anything near this good. Like, Jesus. But I do love it. I love the characters. I always say that reading Stephen King is like coming home. Reading this book is even more like coming home than most Stephen King is, and I just love it. I just love it a lot. 5 stars, obviously. And I reread another Stephen King book. It's gonna be It. This is another one of my favorites. It, if you are somehow unaware, is the clown book. You know, it's the book about the kids who go and they kill the killer clown in the sewers. Recently had a new adaptation. There was one in the 90s. There was one that got split into 2 movies because it's a big fucking book. But I enjoyed those movies. I enjoy this book a lot. This book, honestly, to me is so sad. You know, like it says so much about childhood and not being able to go back. And I mean, like the fact that I don't want to spoil it because this is like a wrap up. But on the other hand, if you haven't consumed the story of It, that is amazing to me at this point. Like in some way or another. I guess if you're not into horror, maybe, but this is just one of the like so present horror stories of, you know, the last 50 years. But no, I do love this book. I like it a lot. There's so many parts of it that feel to me just so perfect and right and iconic. Like, I first read this book when I was in high school. I've read it many times since. It's a big boy. But the fact that it's so big is nice because you kind of notice different things every time. Yeah, it is interesting though, because I don't know. It's a good book, and I have done a full review on this one. It was a long time ago. I think I was either still in high school or like just out of high school. But it's a good one. You know, I love the characters. I love the descriptions. This was not anymore because I've read it so many times. But the first couple times I read it, this is one that would give me nightmares. It's a scary one, and I do love it a lot. I end up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. It's a reread, so there's that. And then I read an arc that I won from Goodreads a while ago. But this is Everything Below the Waist: Why Healthcare Needs a Feminist Revolution by Jennifer Block. This came out in July 2019, so it's been sitting for a while. But this is it's a book about basically about female healthcare, female reproductive health mostly. It deals with stuff like childbirth, deals with you know, like menstruation, fertility, stuff like that. I will say, the major thing that I disagreed with this book on is how much it kind of touts like pulling out for not getting pregnant, which is kind of proven to be like a really bad idea if you don't want to get pregnant. But other than that, it was interesting. I would say, like, I am interested to read more about stuff like this. I mean, obviously, I am a, young woman who is, at the stage and age in my life where I might be having kids soon. Not soon, but like within the next 5 years. But so that was really interesting to read. It's also interesting to read as somebody who was on birth control to kind of learn more about that. I mean, obviously, I just went into the Central Valley Health and was like, I want to be on birth control, and they're like, do you want a pill or do you want me to inject something in you? And I was like, I'll take a pill, so I'm on the pill. And it's interesting to kind of learn more about that. Obviously, they explain stuff, but especially when you're sitting in there, even if the lady I was talking to, she was very nice and she was like young, nice. You're still like, when you're sitting in there, you don't really know even what to ask, and so that was interesting to learn more about that sort of stuff. And it is, I mean, like, it's a nonfiction book. Like I said, the only major problem with it was how highly it was rating pulling out as, like, I mean, like, okay, like, I guess you're not putting, like, chemicals in your body. You're not, like, giving yourself a dose of the depression hormones. But, like, if you really don't want to get pregnant, like, maybe don't choose that as your primary form of birth control, Like, I don't know. But it was interesting. I think I gave it 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely something worth looking into if you're interested in the subject. I am definitely really interested in reading a lot more about women's issues, stuff like that. Because I mean, I am a woman. It's good that I'm not filming this when I'm in one of my I'm just gonna dress like a 14-year-old boy moods. I'm dressed like it's 1984, and this shirt actually got it off eBay, vintage. It's beautiful. I like it a lot. 100% polyester. Anyway, necklace is from Hot Topic, but it reminded me of Duff McKagan, so I put it on. But anyway, that was this one. I gave it like 4 stars, 3 or 4. I don't quite remember, but it was an interesting one that I'm glad I did read. And finally, this is a fun one. Okay, I read the O.J. Simpson book. That is If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. This is by O.J. Simpson. This is, okay, so for those of you who are unaware somehow, maybe you're young, O.J. Simpson was a football player, actor kind of guy who was arrested for killing his ex-wife and a guy who was maybe her lover, maybe not, maybe though, and there was this whole kind of situation. He ended up kind of getting away with it, and then he decided that he was going to write a book about it. Like, what if he did do it? Like, what would that look like? And that's what he wrote. And so the family of the guy that he killed, the Goldman family, were like, no. And so basically, they took it, they published it. It's a whole convoluted situation, but in terms of the story itself, it's interesting because it's literally just O.J. Simpson confessing to murdering people. It's fucking hilarious. Not like that the situation's hilarious, but it is just, it's just like, it's like I think like the two major, like, oh, they got away with it that I can think of like the last 40 years are O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony. I'm just waiting for Casey Anthony's book that's like, well, what if I did kill my daughter? It was fun. Honestly, very short, very interesting. I found this at a local used bookstore. I'm not sure where else you'll be able to find it. I don't know if it's like super available widespreadly online, but definitely one that I knew I had to get as soon as I saw it because it's just like almost like the novelty of it. And I did read it, and I did think it was an interesting time. It was definitely, like, obviously it's written by OJ, so it's definitely super biased in his favor. Like, not that you would expect anything different, but it's just like more the novelty than anything else is what kind of made this book for me. Like, I would recommend if you can get your hands on it, especially if you're a true crime fan. It's something that's definitely kind of worth trying to pick up. So these are books 106 through 110. That is all every day. I will see you later, and goodbye.